Hello and welcome to another tutorial. This time I'm going to show you how to paint Imperial fists. First and foremost, you're going to need a white primer. Why? Because yellow sucks. And now the first and probably the most important part is paint the darkest areas of brown color. This is going to be the base that my yellow is going to use to be all bright. There is a few ways on how to approach yellow paint, depending on how intense you want the red parts of it. Yellow always darkens into an orange hue. It's going to be either a red orange or a brown orange, but it's always going to turn orange. So it depends on how colorful is your army. If you want it to be fiery yellow, or if you want to be more of an ochre yellow, is how you're going to choose these darkest points. Some people will use red instead of the brown that I'm using, or some people are going to use brown, or even a darker brown that I'm using. That is just a matter of style. Practice a little bit and you will learn what you want it to be. I'm going to apply a few layers of these paints. Basically, I'm painting the shadows of it. Don't worry of how not smooth it's looking, it's going to get better after we apply the yellow. The more layers I apply of this paint, the thinner it's getting, because it is getting more exposed and receiving more light, and therefore I need it to be a little bit more illuminated. Up to this point, it doesn't matter if the paint doesn't look very smooth. We will fix that later. And this is the result. Now it's really ready to get some yellow on it. And the next step is, you guessed it, yellow. Let's cover everything in yellow. Just one thin layer is going to be enough. The paint I'm using is Citadel's Flash Kits Yellow. This paint is so transparent, it's almost like a contrast paint. Honestly, why? I don't know. But anyway, it works for this style of painting. See? Super transparent. I wasn't lying. After I cover everything in yellow, it's starting to be alive. Now it's time to smoothen out all those color transitions. It's going to be applying paint only in the pieces where the two colors meet, like in this space I'm touching. Small brush strokes are going to do the trick here. My eyes got a little tired of yellow, I'm going to switch color. Basically, I'm going to go to apply all the base colors now, starting with black. And after I'm done with the black, I'm going to start painting the brown pieces. And after I'm done with the brown pieces, I'm going to start painting the metallic pieces. They are all straightforward steps. 2 layers, maybe 3 layers, always thin of course, of the black, the brown and the silver of your choice. I'm going to paint the edge highlights of the brown. To this piece, it just requires a little bit of harsh lines for it to have some contrast, and nothing much more. And now finally, for the metallic pieces, I'm going to paint silver with lead belcher. Now that I took a break, I'm ready to go back to the yellow, and I'm going to start painting the highlights. Notice there are some surfaces in the yellow that require a little bit of more highlights, like in the case of the kneecap or the shoulder pads or the helmet. I'm going to apply a little bit of bigger points of color and then cover them back again in yellow, just to smoothen the transition. Just like I said, I'm going to apply some Flash Kits yellow close to the areas where I painted the eyes yellow. This is just to smoothen the transitions and make them all a little bit more alive. Now I'm going to apply Agrax Earthshade, my favorite wash, on both the metallic pieces and the brown parts. After these get dry, we're going to bring back the silver. I'm going to use a Stormhost silver. Decided it was too much, and I am coming back to add a little bit of lead belcher on the body of the gun. It was very hard to capture the contrast in the camera, so I have to brighten up the take. Continuing with the highlights, I'm going to move on to the black. I'm going to use Dark Reaper for my edge highlights here. There are a couple alternatives that you could use instead. I like Dark Reaper because it's blue, and in a miniature which is yellow, a blue is going to give us a nice balancing color. And now for the most intense edge highlights, I simply add white to a mix of Dark Reaper. Basically a 1x1 mix is gonna be enough. And I'm going to apply this paint in all the edges of the black pieces and the most prominent parts. The most important piece to highlight is the chest plate. This requires a lot of precision, but keep in mind that you can always fix your mistakes if something goes too far. You can just go back to black paint and then apply the edge highlights again. So far so good, but the most important part is still missing. The part that makes the miniature come to life. And that is, of course, the glowing eyes. So let's go for it. Just as we did with the yellow, it's really important to add a white undercoat on the pieces you want to glow. I'm applying about 3 layers of this, because I really need it to be strong. And as you can see, I'm using the tiniest little brush I could find. I want these eyes to glow in blue, so I thinned down a lot the paint that I'm going to use. It's a fluorescent blue from Vallejo game color range. It's going to go deep in the crevices and then a little bit on the edges. Because of how thin the paint is, it's going to behave almost like a wash. I want it to go to the deep corners and leave the general body of the eye almost alone. An important rule to remember when you want something to glow is that the glowing element must be closer to white than the surroundings it is illuminating. In this case, the light is emanating from the eye itself, so it has to go back to almost white, while its pieces around it turned blue. This gives us the illusion that the light is spreading around it. I forgot to turn on the camera when I was painting the purity seals. I simply painted one base color of Screamer Pink, ushapped the bone, and then mixed some white to the colors to add the highlights. One of the final tricks that I'm going to teach you is how to do the weathering on the armor. What we're going to do is to grab some sponge you have in your house, cut a little piece, make it a ball, and then with gentle touches you will add the paint to your miniature. I recommend you to practice this step because you might get too excited with it, just like it will happen to me in the video. Always try to keep the sponge tight so that only a small part of it touches your miniature. Only a few touches here and there and your miniature immediately looks totally grimdark. I think that we've all had enough.
keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan, they know that we're calling it bluff. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan, they know that we're calling it bluff. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan, they know that we're calling it bluff. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan, they know that we're calling it bluff.
This has to be the most fun step in all the painting process. Sometimes I can't stop myself doing it. Once you're happy with the amount of damage the armor has suffered, the next step is going to be to add some edge highlights to it. This will add a lot more realism to it. You won't really need to apply this step everywhere. Apply this only where the damage is a lot more visible.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. They'll take for their disease. Just like a weed, spread into the streets. It's time to make them bleed. Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip cards into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.
Now that our armor is damaged, it still looks a little bit too clean, so I want to add a little bit of dirt to it. On the lower part of the legs, I'm going to apply the same paint that I used for the base, but very thin. I want it to behave mostly like a wash. And there you go, this is how I paint the Imperial Fist for the Space Marines. The yellow armor is complicated to paint, and you always need a white primer to paint it. There's different styles on how to approach it, but I found this one is really safe. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time.
Sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take